All right. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to this special resurrection edition of Kevin at 7. I'm going to call it the resurrection edition because this is my first time back on social media, really, in over a week. It's the first time to do Kevin at 7 in 2 weeks after tumultuous 2021. And that's been a tumultuous, 2 years now for most of us, for 2020, 2021. I got COVID. I had COVID 10, 11, and 12 days ago now. I had COVID a week ago. Wednesday I started feeling bad. Thursday morning I went in and got tested and I had it. Now that was a week ago Thursday. And so for the last, for 10 days I was in bed. And so I'm just going to talk about today my COVID story, what I experienced, how it affected me, and how I've come out of it. Because it was I very, very rarely get sick. And when I do get sick, I bounce back real quick. So if I get a cold or a flu, it's like it's here and gone. And it doesn't stop me. I don't let stuff stop me. And this stopped me. And it stopped me with a vengeance. And I'm not used to that. And so it was like, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to deal with this. I had plans that were coming up. I was all excited about. So we had plans coming up for day after tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm supposed to be leaving with a group of guys, and we were going to drive. Some were driving, some were flying, but we were driving with some of my friends, and we're driving to the White Cloud Mountains of Idaho for a 5-day backpacking adventure up in the mountains. And we've been planning it for 8 months since the beginning of the year. And it's like, these are all guys that are like super busy. And so we all had to clear our schedule months in advance. And now I'm like, I got to get over this so we can go. I got to get over this so we can go. We're going to be, we'd be at elevation, up at, I think 8,900. We start at 8,900 feet above sea level and goes up to well over 10,000 feet above sea level up in the mountains, and you're totally removed from anything, from campgrounds. There's no campgrounds, there's no roads, there's no anything except some primitive hiking trails, and we're up in the mountains, and we have a GPS, a Garmin GPS position thing that we can send out an SOS if we get into trouble. But we're going to be on our own, and then we're going to be doing the plan was 42 miles of backpacking in 4 days. And at elevation with intense altitude elevation changes, which means climbing mountains. And I was having to deal with the fact that I got guys flying from as far away as Puerto Rico to go on this trip, and realizing I'm not sure I can make it. And then having to have the difficult conversation with my wife of, you know what, best thing for me is to not go on the trip. And I'm the one that originated the trip. I'm the planner, I'm the organizer, I'm the mastermind behind the whole thing. And so I've got to tell all my friends that are planning to fly in. I had one that was making a road trip across the United States that was actually planning to leave the next day, yesterday, and we had to make a decision. I'm like, hey dude, I know you're planning to leave in the morning, but I can't go. Can't do the backpacking trip. So it's been very, very frustrating, and I'm just going to be real honest. I went to some very dark places. I'm doing better now. I'm essentially healed. I've got a little still raspiness in my throat, but I went out on Saturday. I just got out in the truck and went and to pick something up, and then yesterday I went out and I just sang at the top of my lungs, so I kind of blew my vocal cords out a little bit this weekend. But they're back. I think they're more back to normal than anything else. I grew my beard because I was sick, so I didn't shave forever. And I'm like, I was just going to hang on to it for my backpacking trip. I was just going to keep the beard. And So now I've had to make changes on that. So for all my coaching members, I'm back this week. I'm back where all of our coaching calls are back on. I did some coaching calls last week, which was probably a mistake health-wise, but I felt like I could do it, and I pushed through, and you know, I don't know if it made it take me longer to recover or not. But here's the thing: all of us go through adversity, right? All been through it, all going through it. How do you go through it? And I'm just going to give you some of the takeaways that I have had from COVID. So good morning, everybody. You should come on if you have questions. It's not telling me what you're posting. You guys, there's some posts. Good morning, Deb Shoot. Risa, good morning. You lost so much weight. Looking good from Risa. I lost so much weight. How can you tell? I did. I lost 10 pounds. I lost full 10 pounds during COVID, which I needed to lose. But a lot of what I lost was not good weight loss. I lost a lot of muscle. But it's the beard that makes me look skinnier. What do you think? All right. So no matter what the loss in your schedule, praise God, I can't tell what it said. Alive and on the mid. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Marty. All right. So, here's some of the things that I've learned. Okay, I got 3 takeaways. Just takeaways for me from COVID. Aside from the obvious facts, like none of us are invincible. Yeah, that was a tough one for me to admit that that I am not invincible. But here are some things. One is that I am, no matter what's going on in my life, I alone am responsible for every thought and every word and every thought and every word that I entertain and hold in my head. I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible for my thoughts. I'm responsible for my attitude. I could not control the sickness, but I can control my attitude. I can control, I control some of my actions. But what I discovered was when I feel bad and I'm stuck. I'm in isolation in my house. I'm in my bedroom, our master bedroom with the master bathroom and all that. So I got plenty of space, but I'm just locked in there, door shut, windows open the whole time. And my wife is, she's sleeping in another room in the house, and I'm in isolation. So she brings me food. She's masked and gloved, and if I need to go downstairs or go out of the room, I'm masked and gloved. And I hate it, man. I hate the isolation. I hated the isolation from my wife more than anything else. That was the thing I hated the most. As I miss my wife, and she's right in the house, right in the next room half the time, but I'm isolated from her, and I hated that part. And so it was part of it was loneliness, but I just miss her. I miss getting to sit down there, and I miss getting to hold her hand. I miss getting to snuggle with her. I just miss getting to be with her, and that was brutal for me. I think it was probably as bad for her or worse, because she's locked out of the bedroom, her bathroom. She's having to use one of our other bathrooms. We got plenty of bathrooms, but she's locked into one of the guest bathrooms, and so that's tough. And when you feel bad and you're just sitting there and there's so much brain fog and feeling sick, I couldn't be productive, and so I'm frustrated, and I just started having dark thoughts. Now for me, dark thoughts are not like suicidal thoughts, but just frustration, and just like I literally was feeling depressed, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated. And and I can't do anything about it. And I hated that. And so I just found myself spending too much time in a negative place. And I finally dawned on me, wait a second. I'm still responsible for these thoughts, for holding these thoughts, entertaining these thoughts, allowing these thoughts to stay here, to have them. They're just natural. I have them. But now what I do with them, and whether I just choose to hold them and entertain them or not, that's up to me. And I am responsible. Your attitude is your responsibility, no matter what is going on. And even when things are at the worst, and because I'm like, okay, I'm not getting over this like I thought I would. I had fever for 2 days. That's it. Thursday and Friday. That was the only days I had fever. And by Friday afternoon, I didn't have any fever. I haven't had fever since the first 2 days of COVID. And I'm like, I'm over this thing. I'm done, man. I'm gonna kick its butt, and I'm gonna be back up and going. And so I'm like, I'm ready to go, and it just kept holding on and kept holding on and kept holding on. I kept just the fatigue and the cough and the congestion, and I'm just like, ugh, just come on. And I just allowed myself to get really, really in a funk. And I'm just like the feelings of depression, frustration, feelings that I've never probably, I mean, I can't say I've never felt them, but it's been years since I felt anything like it, and I hated it. And I'm like, I've got to take control of my thoughts. The words that I am saying to myself, the thoughts that I am saying to myself, I've got to get over those. And I've got to take that back, because one of my personal codes of conduct is be 100% positive. Be 100% positive. Be 100 right here. Somebody watching this, would you type this in the comments? Be 100% positive. This is been one of my greatest secrets of life, I think, is being 100% positive. Be 100% positive. Be 100% positive. Be 100% positive. That is for me, is absolutely incredibly powerful. Is be 100% positive, and I wasn't, and it was tough. And so thank you guys for typing that in. Be 100% positive. I like that shorthand there, Hogleg Johnson. Thank you, Justin. All right, number 2 is recover. You gotta, when something's wrong, you have to allow yourself to recover. I'm ready to just be over this and push through it and all this kind of stuff. And that's when I did the coaching calls on Tuesday. I think I needed not to do those. I should have allowed myself recovery to just say, dude, you got to get over this. You got to get well and recover. I've slept more, and I've slept more than I've slept in years and years and years. And I would first couple of days I'm sleeping all day and all night, and then I'm getting to where I'm taking a nap or two during the day, and then sleeping at night. And I'm like, even last night I went to bed and I'm feeling really good and all this, but I went to bed at a little after 8 o'clock, and I got up at 5 a.m. because that's when I normally get up at 4:30. But I thought, I'm going to give myself a little 30 extra minutes, and I'm like, I could go right now and take a nap. I'm tired. So I've got to allow myself to recover. And so when we expend ourselves or something happens, you've got to allow time for the process of regaining strength and recovery. And so I'm listening to my body, and I'm being honest with my body, but I'm also controlling my mind. So listen to your body. Listen to your body, recovery, but control your mind, attitude. Because my mind does not have to be sick. My mind is not stuck. I get to choose how I think and what I feel. And then third is adapt. Is that when things happen, adversity happens. Like for me, this has been coronavirus. And of course, I mean, the last year has been super crazy for us beyond just the pandemic. The pandemic has created insanity in our world. And then the politics of the last year have been insane, especially last year. And then my wife's dad had Alzheimer's, and so we spent all of last year with COVID and all that, watching his decline, and then his passing last winter. And then my dad this spring got cancer, and spending the last 2 months with him as he passed, and he declined, his health declined, and he passed. And man, all that stuff, and on top of other good things like reuniting with my daughters and rebuilding my relationship with my daughters, meeting my grandsons, some like awesome stuff too. But it was all taxing. It's all taxing. And then on top of all this, so I've had plans, and our plans have been rearranged. And with 2 months out for my dad, there were so many things that got put on hold and shifted. And then I'm trying to get back on track with that. And I'm going on this backpacking trip that we've been planning for the whole year. And I mean, it was at the end of last year. I was like, I've got to do stuff in 2021 to have fun. I've got to get out and just keep me rejuvenated, keep me fresh. And part of that is taking time off. And nature is very powerful for me. I'm a country boy, not a city boy, and I live in the city. And I need to get out. So this backpacking trip has been like the one getaway that I have of everything that we've done this year. This has been what I look forward to the most for me. It's like, I need this. And then as I'm come down with COVID, I'm like, oh crap. Well, at least I got 2 weeks before we leave, so I got time to get over this. And like it just drags on and on and on. And I'm like, oh crap. And I know I'm losing strength, and my muscles are atrophying as I'm stuck here in bed, and my lungs are now going to be messed up, or recovering from COVID. And so I'm about to go to high altitude and be mountain climbing with backpack and all this stuff. And it's like, I can do it. And then finally it's like, I can't do it. It's not safe. It's not smart. So now I have to adapt. And when that happened, I had this conversation with my wife 2 days ago, Saturday night, I'm having to decide not to go on this backpacking trip. And I was mad. I was not mad at her. I was just mad at the situation. I was mad at me because she didn't want me to go, but it wasn't her decision to make, and I knew I needed not to go. So I was just like, I'm mad. I was like, I'm gonna let down all the guys because and I told them they can go on without me, but it was my trip. I'm the one that put it all together, and a lot of them don't even know each other. They're just my friends, and so it's like we got to adapt. And so I had a good Zoom call last night with all the backpackers with our group, and we got it all figured out. Not figured out, but we're working on like, okay, what's the plan B and all that kind of stuff. But you got to adapt. So for my takeaways here is attitude, that you control every single thought. No matter how you're feeling, you got to listen to your body, but you do not have to listen to your mind. You can control your mind. You can control your thoughts. You can guide your thoughts. And you're responsible for that. And if you get depressed, okay, I get that. Like I felt down in the dumps, man. It was dark. I was not happy and all that. But I still get to control what I'm gonna think about, what I'm gonna dwell on. I'm gonna think about winning and recovering and getting over this. What's gonna happen past this? Not just getting stuck in the funk. Number 2 is you got to allow yourself to recover. Listen to your body. Be honest with yourself. And that's not a COVID protocol. That's through any adversity. Just like the loss of my dad, you got to recover from that. That's the grieving process. You got to give yourself time to make that adjustment and go through the grief, and not deny it and not try to act like, oh, it's okay when it's not okay. And then number 3 is adapt in adversity. Just be willing and understand. I've got to make the adaptation, and I still feel behind, but it is what it is. It's life, right? This is life. When things don't go the way you expect or the way you want, what are you going to do? You got to adapt. And the faster you can come to terms with the fact that I'm adapting, we're going to adjust. We're going to make the changes we need to make, just like we did when COVID hit the world. And we change and make the adaptation with our businesses and all that kind of stuff, and our coaching. And you just adapt, and then you win. See, this is the whole thing. Ain't nothing gonna cause me to lose. I am going to win. Period. And when I get to that point in my life where I die, I'm still going to be winning. And when death stops me, it's going to have to stop me. It's just the way it's going to go. But I'm still going to go into every moment, every day winning, fulfilling my purpose on this planet, making a difference, doing the things that I can do to make my life and the lives of people I care about great. Okay, guys, there you go. There is my debrief from my bout with COVID. I could give you all kinds of medical advice, but I've gotten all kinds of medical advice, and some of it I took, some of it I did not. But this is not about the medical side or the health side of COVID. It's about, I think, the real personal decisions you have to make and the attitude of how you approach adversity, whether it's coronavirus or anything else. It's, adversity is adversity is adversity. And how we deal with it is going to determine a whole lot about who we are and about where we're going with our lives. So I am back. We got some exciting stuff coming. We are planning our final Agent Mastery Live big event of the year, our big training event for real estate agents all over North America and beyond. And so watch for announcements coming on that very, very soon. And more great videos coming out. We're going to be coming out with some cool stuff on YouTube. I hired a new videographer that his third day as our videographer. Was his last day with us for a while with COVID, with me coming out with COVID, so he's been having to work remote. But we've got some really cool stuff coming. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the great comments. Have a great day. Play to win, and always expect yes.